Perfect. We should be good. All right. Cards game day has finally arrived. Cards take on USF here in about 90 minutes. Um, it's going to be a thriller. I think that this is probably a top three most fun matchup to watch in the first round. Two frenetic offenses who just love to push pace. Two similar offenses. I think both these coaches have similar philosophies. Brian Hodgson has done a hell of a job. USF closed out the season with 11 straight wins. They had a rough November, December. Haven't played the highest quality opponents. So that we're going to figure out a lot about them today. I'm sure you guys have seen all over the internet that everybody's picking them to upset us. And I think a lot of that is fake juice. They're small. Isaiah Nelson, Conference Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, he is going to be the X factor today. If Sananda Fru can show us that he's the German pro baller that we went and recruited and is used to playing in these type of battles, then I think that we clear them easily. But I'm worried about Isaiah Nelson. I'm not so worried about Wes Enos and Pinion like everybody else is. I think Ryan Conwell and Adrian Woolley are far better. I think the backcourt has never been the issue this year. And today, I think our season's going to ride on how the front court plays.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that in a lot of this line change, like it opened 6.5, you can get it all the way down to 4, even 3.5 right now. Really love that line just because I think a lot of that movement is in regards to Michael Brown Jr. playing, which obviously is not an ideal thing, but we were talking this morning in all of our threads, and it's yes, it sucks he's not there, but the flow is not going to get messed up by adding him back into it. They played 5 straight without him. Adding him to it, yes, defenses are going to watch him, but it's not adding anything into the mix there offensively. Just keep flowing. I really like Ryan Conwell to get hot. That's why we took him over.
Playing against his former team as well.
Yeah. And then the Cason Pryor thing, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, KP can just give us that shit talking, pot stirring mentality that he's always had. And, I think that there's a couple of cool storylines about today's game as well. And I'm going to dive into those real quick. So Brian Hodgson, obviously being from Western New York, this is kind of a coming home party, if you will, for him. And he'll probably have tons of friends and family at the game. But if any of you all saw 2 days ago, he publicly said that he's not going to take the Syracuse job. I think he's just injecting juice into his team because he thinks that they're capable of making some sort of run. He doesn't want them to think, oh, our coach is gone. He wants them to buy in. He's taking the Providence job. He's gone anyway. So I don't know what he was trying to do. It's confusing to me. Your coach is gone. If any USF fan sees this, your coach is gone. So that sucks. And we've all been reading the tweets this week. Probably the most surprising toxic fan base that I've ever come across. I'm used to dealing with Kentucky fans, and they're as bad as it gets. But USF, you might be now worse than Kentucky.
Literally, yeah. With nothing to cash your tickets, you're talking.
Yeah, so. 4 NCAA appearances and 1 NCAA tournament win. So, I mean, yeah, I think that the reason that they're talking the way they are is they've had a great run, but they know they're about to lose the captain. And that would suck. So I think that they're taking it out on us and blindly confident. And, like Kobe mentioned, we haven't had Michael for last few weeks. We picked up our best win of the season without him at Miami. Adrian Woolley was a top 5 player in the portal, 5-star in the portal. I think he's going to prove today why. I think that his role in this roster, I think he's gotten the short end of the stick many times, being plug and played by PK. Can't really say I blame, PK because he's had Michael, he hasn't had him. And that's directly impacted Adrian Woolley's ability to get into any sort of offensive flow throughout the year. And I think now he's finding his rhythm, and I think that his statistics will or have shown that. So I'm very confident in him. I think Isaac McNeely is unbelievably due. I mean, if you're going to take any player to go off today, it would be him. You can get him at I think you can get him at 3+3s at plus odds, which for a shooter like him, he's a senior. This is his 3rd time in March Madness. He knows this tournament. He's played very well in this tournament. I think he's due to go off. Javon Hadley, pull up his March Madness statistics. This guy has feasted, and I think he's going to have a big game. I think he's averaging 16.5 in his 2 seasons playing in March with like 55% field goal percentage, like 6 rebounds a game. We're so experienced. We have a lot of guys who have been in the situation, and I'm confident. I'm kind of blocking out the noise. So
yeah, and like we're due to get hot. Like you saw the struggles in the ACC tournament against not only Miami, the game before that as well. Like, I mean, we just had, tough luck behind the three. I think it's due, especially from everybody that's playing today, mainly, McNeely and Conwell. But yeah, really like those plays today. I don't think losing this game today is an injury excuse for Pat either.
no.
Having no Michael, you should still win this. It's not an excuse. They've just got to go out there and prove it.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's no excuses. If you watch PK's presser yesterday, he chose to make no excuses. It's next man up mentality. These are the guys who want to be out there for us. We can speculate about Michael all we want. I think the optics of the situation are poor, but it's time to turn the page and realize that this bunch is extremely capable. Had we all looked back to July and been like, we have a first round game against USF with this loaded roster, but we don't have Michael, everyone would have taken that. It would have been like, this team would clear them easily, So I think that a lot of the negativity around the fan base has nothing to do with the game itself, but by like the feeling of, oh, Louisville's cursed. Oh, we have like this perpetual doom. I think today honestly breaks that cycle. And I'm excited for Pat to go out there and shut a lot of people up and, advance to the second round. And hopefully North Dakota State can do us some favors.
Yeah. So then I guess going ahead, we're going to work through today's slate real quick, and then we're going to start another one for tomorrow as well. But this tip-off that's in 4 minutes, TCU, Ohio State. My thoughts here, I love TCU, a money line. I think the spread is almost free money there. I think they're going to get hot. As Matt always says, and I couldn't be with us today, but the games that are the openers for March Madness, first half always take the under. And in that case, size-wise, love TCU in that matchup too if it's a lower scoring game. I really think they handle business there. Do you have any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I think that this is one of those games that's probably going to be the best game in the first round. Ohio State had, I support Indiana in my free time. I've had the chance to watch Ohio State a few times. They are really hot and cold. TCU is battle tested. Jamie Dixon is a great head coach. He's been there quite some time now. The Big 12 was great. TCU has, just about as good as wins as I can ever remember a 9 seed having. They have some losses here and there, but that's just part of the process of being in that conference, and they're battle tested. I think another game that is the trappiest game of the first round is Troy and Nebraska, because it reminds me so much of McNeese 2024, where everyone's picking them to upset whoever they play. Everybody's on Troy. I'm not saying that Nebraska covers that. What is it, 13.5?
Yeah.
I'm not saying they cover that, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's not necessarily a competitive game. Nebraska's never won an NCAA tournament game. Crazy. This team is very good. Fred Hoiberg has done a fantastic job. I don't think they need any more motivation than what I just said. I think they pull out the win.
Yeah. No, they started off so hot this year. I literally took a prop for them to win it all back in like December.
Yeah.
And obviously they've kind of fallen off the past month or so with some tough losses, but I don't really think it's much of a contest there. I think that's the Cinderella that everybody wants to bet in Troy. I don't think that one happens at all. I guess moving on, High Point, Wisconsin. I think that's another one who has like similar talks with it. That's another one I'm not necessarily buying the hype for. But.
Yeah, I'm not in love with that upset pick. I think what we can learn about NIL and the portal is I think that a lot of these games are just going to keep getting chalkier and chalkier. As unfortunate as that is for the viewer, I think Wisconsin makes the Sweet 16. I've watched them this year. I think that they're extremely good, well coached. Greg Gard, always has them ready to play. They have fantastic wins. I think they've beaten Michigan State, Michigan. They're a good team. And keep your eyes peeled for that second round matchup, because Arkansas and Wisconsin are on a collision course in the second round, and the winner of that game could get to the Final Four.
Yeah. And then game after that looks like Duke Siena. I take Duke to cover that 28 all day, especially after such a contested game in the ACC final there. I just think they're going to let it loose and just absolutely smack them, look for over 30 points there.
Yep.
Vandy and McNeese is another really interesting one. I know you put that one in your play today.
Yeah. So, I mean, Vanderbilt is a great team. They almost won the SEC championship. They're playing the best ball of the season right now. Mark Byington should have been up for coach of the year, in my opinion. He probably was. I just know he didn't. He's probably not going to win it. But Tanner, what's his name? He's like two first names. Whatever. Tanner, the point guard for Vanderbilt, is a stud. Tyler Tanner, that's his name.
Yeah.
Crazy name. Shout out to his mom. But, yeah, he's a great player. They're deep. They're fast. They have great guard play. Guard play wins in March. That's why I'm so confident in this Louisville team is we have experienced guards, even without Michael. Obviously he's just a freshman, but with Adrian Woolley, Ryan Conwell, Isaac McNeely, guards win in March, and I think that's going to be the benefactor to Vanderbilt today, and I think that they cover. I had them at 11.5. I don't know if it's changed yet. It's still minus 11.5.
Yeah. And then moving on from there, you've got North Dakota State, Michigan State. I don't think Michigan State's the best 3 seed out there, but I definitely like them to win this one. I don't see a huge upset happening there, but I will not complain if it does because that is our round 2 matchup there.
Yep. One more game that I really want to harp on is VCU and North Carolina. I normally don't jump at upset games without really diving into the details on the team. And I think VCU is just better than North Carolina right now. North Carolina is battered. I mean, if you think that we're hurt without Michael, they're destroyed without Caleb Wilson. I mean, he made that thing go. And they know it. We know it. Seth Trimble and Henry Visar are good players, but I don't think they can carry that team. VCU is really like a 5 or a 6 seed that's an 11 because they play in the Atlantic 10. They're a really, really good squad, which is impressive considering Ryan Odom just left and now has 30 wins at Virginia. So shout out to VCU. Clearly you have a well-oiled machine in that athletic department because your basketball team did not miss a beat. So
yeah. And then I don't know about you, but Hawaii, Arkansas, and then Howard, Michigan, I don't have too high of any opinion there.
Yeah, I think Hawaii, Arkansas is probably a skip.
Yeah.
Because Arkansas either beats them by 30 or they beat them by 10. And, that team is feast or famine. If anybody in this tournament could just catch fire and win the whole damn thing, it's them.
Yeah. Acuff is good.
Yeah, Acuff is the best player in the country. I mean, Acuff might be one of the best 3 guards that John Calipari's ever coached. And I know people are going to be like, oh, that's not true. Well, set your nostalgia aside. He's having a better year than John Wall did. He's having a better year than Tyler Ulis did. He's having a better year than De'Aaron Fox did. The guy is unbelievable. They're deep with Brazil, Richmond, DJ Wagner, even though he's kind of ass. But, yeah, they've got plenty to go. John Calipari is going to be out there in that houndstooth coat. Kenny Payne at his side, asking him, if he needs a cup of water or some shit like that. But yeah, that's probably a skip for me. And my other skip of the first round or today's games is Texas and BYU.
Really?
I have no idea what's going to happen in that game. I think that a lot of people are going to be on Texas. I can actually check that right now. I think a lot of people are going to be on Texas. Yeah. Well, they're all over BYU. The public is right now.
Yeah.
See, who knows what's going to happen? BYU without Richie Saunders, I have no idea. DeBonsa could get 30 and they could lose. And it's happened many times this year where he gets his own and they just get mollywopped. So,
yeah, that's a toss-up. I took BYU in mind just because DeBonsa is I think that dude's made for March. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Not too opinionated in that one. And then UPenn and Illinois. UPenn I actually took in a couple of different brackets to win this. Is like my huge upset, but I love that plus 25.5 today. I think Illinois is due to choke a huge lead as they always do in the second half. 25.5 points is a lot. UPenn coming off that Ivy League championship. I think they've got some real heat there, and I just don't see it being a 25-point game.
I'm too big of a pussy to pick it, but I'm going to put it out there. I think a 2 seed loses in the first round this year. I have no idea who. I know a couple people were saying that Furman has the best chance. I'm not going to pick against Hurley. I think UConn's probably going to go to the. I have them in the Final Four, but I think this is the year where a 2 seed goes down again. I think that we're going to see a couple big upsets, but overall a lot of chalk in the first round.
Yeah, seeing Hurley and Mick Cronin in the second round would be absolute hell for those referees. So I just want to see that matchup for my own enjoyment.
Yep.
So hoping UConn pulls that one out. And then only other 2 games today are Kennesaw State Gonzaga and then Idaho Houston. I don't have any strong takes on either of these.
No.
Yeah, I know Matt's all over the Gonzaga minus 21.5. You can get it at minus 20.5 right now. That's if you
want to take that plus 64,000 play.
Yeah, if you're on that, buy it. Yeah, I did. I took it this morning. I think I put $2 on it to win 218 with a 64% boost on Caesars. So why not now?
And here in a minute we're going to cover tomorrow's games.
Yeah, so we're going to end this one now. We'll be back in a second, and we'll do the ones for tomorrow.
All right, I'm going to